Everybody, MixLife 66. Welcome to MixLife 66. I am the Ckemist. It's just going to be me solo today. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm having a nice week, working on some development for some different one-shot lines, some different products we have going on. We have some launches in some countries on some confidential stuff, so we're excited about that, but can't really talk too much about it. Let's see what else is going on. I want to talk to you guys about a Liquid Barn special that I haven't seen it advertised anywhere. So we're going to walk through that and go over that. And yeah, MixLife 66, still going strong. Went a little earlier in the day because we're gonna have some kids and stuff over at the house around normal time, so it would have been a little more hectic. So right now is perfect. Copal's out with family, and give Concrete a break because he's working hard on flavor notes. I figured I'd talk a little bit about kind of the different processes that happen when you are doing a professional release, and then sort of how a vape shop release is different from a one-shot release versus like a DIY. So we'll go over that stuff. I think probably first I want to show you guys this special. I've been talking to Ash over at Liquid Barn, and we've been going back and forth on possibly doing some projects. And he sent me over some of their new products that they got coming out. So I want to show you guys this special. Even if you've never spent money over at Liquid Barn, it costs $50 to get like the full deal on this thing. But let me show. I'll share the screen and show you guys what it is. Let's go. Let's go. All right. All right, so you guys should see Liquid Barn right now. And let's go look through. So their new product that I want to talk about is called Basic E-Liquid. Now, I don't think you should buy all your base as this product, but I think that if you're a new mixer, this is the best way to start. So they took advice from the sample group that they sent them to, and they created a 5-pack, right? So what this is it's a bottle of base. So you have your nicotine, your VG, and your PG in it, and it's short filled. So it's only filled about 80% or 85%, really 84% to be exact, because they leave 16% space, right? So say you're vaping 6 milligrams, you're a vape shop person, or if you want to get your friends into vaping, DIY vaping, this is a really good way to get them off the vape shop concept because they're used to all this. So you buy a 5-pack of these short fills. Now the cool thing about these is the cap comes off, right? So you see that it's got the removable tip that Wayne was talking about. The bottles in England and the UK are using, right? So you can pop it off. You take your one shot and you pour it in, or you take your recipe and you put the whole bottle on your scale, and then you measure out your recipe, just the flavoring part, right? I wouldn't really say you should mix this way too much using the ruler, but if you've got a one shot and all you're doing is trying to pour out roughly 15 to 16%, you're fine just pouring the flavor in. If you're trying to do a recipe, I'd still use a scale, but these are great. This is like the best friend of a one shot, right? Right now you can get 0, 3, 6, and 12. I think there's going to be some other stuff coming out soon. But here's why I'm telling you guys about this, even if you're a mixer, is this amazing offer that's hidden right here, is you get one free one shot from any of their collection, right? And then on top of that, you get $20 towards flavoring. And that includes one shots, right? Now, you're thinking the same thing I am, which is like, I don't want to spend 20 bucks for just 550 mils all the time, right? So they still sell the base in 500 milliliter refills, right? So you're vaping 6. To get free shipping here, you're going to want to do a $50 purchase, right? So if this is your first time buying this stuff, or you just want to pick up some one-shot stuff and try out the one-shots, I'd pick up 2 of these, right? So it's going to give you 1,000 mils of base liquid. It's got your nicotine, everything. And what I did here in this cart is I added some samples to get up to $50 to show you how the deal works, right? So you're going to do 2 basic refills, right? That'll give you 1,000 mils of refill. And then you're going to pick up 5 of these one-shot bottles, which you can totally rinse and refill 1 or 2 times, especially if you're putting the same flavor back in it, right? So now you can see we're buying 1 DIY or die one-shot. We're buying the 5-pack of the short fills, and we're buying 2 of these refills, right? That gives us free shipping. Now we're taking advantage of the discounts, so we're getting the watermelon for free. You get the Purple Delight, which I tried, really good grape one-shot, if you like grape stuff, for free. You Mr. Good Vape one-shot, Moon Sugar, free, right? Then you get San Palatine, free. Then we're throwing in the vanilla ice cream, a big bottle of that, 60 ml, because it's delicious, and it should be in your mixing cabinet for most of your vanillas, right? So this is going to probably be my order, right? And then, so for $50.91, you're going to be getting 1,000 mils of base, plus another, so 1,250 mils of base, 5 of these short fill bottles that have the spouts you can take off, so you can clean them and then refill them with base in one shot. And so when you refill these, you're just going to go on that little measurement up to 84%, and that'll leave 16, and you can just pour your flavor in. So the ruler will help you on that. So for 50 bucks, you're basically getting, you know, about $80 worth of stuff plus free shipping. And I looked at doing it cheaper, and their shipping comes out to be like 13 bucks. So you're not going to want to buy it and try to get the deal. You're going to end up spending 50, so you might as well get the best deal. So I highly suggest you check it out. I don't know, we don't have a coupon code, but in special instructions, you can put e-juice makers or MixLife, or Ckemist sent me, something like that. If you do buy this, let them know that, you know, you guys are purchasing the stuff because you saw what we do. But hopefully that's appealing to some of you guys. It was definitely appealing to me. Just being able to see all those one shots that are kind of on the market, you can go out and give it a try. So it's really cool. And the base has the new nicotine. There's a law out that by August this year, all vaping products that have nicotine in them have to have that big stupid warning that says this contains nicotine. Nicotine can be addictive, right? So if you have a vape shop product, you have to relabel, and that costs money. And I think they had some other thing earlier in the year that was different, so everybody had relabeled that way. So that's 2 relabelings you have to do for your whole line. And if you have like 10,000 or 100,000 bottles of e-juice, that sucks. So yeah, never really ordered from Liquid Barn. I always started with Bull City, but what they're doing lately, I really like. So the things that the moves they've been making are putting them in a really cool position to be like a nice one-shot shop, and then most of the customers to be vaping shop customers that were converted to one-shots. So keep your eyes on those guys, and go take advantage of that deal if you want to try out some of Wayne's new stuff, or even some vape shop one-shots like the Muffin Mayor thing. See what else is going on. All right, I'm vaping on. It's actually Liquid Barn Waffle, and then a bunch of Vape Train kind of testing. I got Vape Train Pudding Base, Vape Train Honeycomb, and then let's see. Cereal 27 is in there too a little bit to give it like a nutty flavor. So it's kind of like a nutty. And then I did a banana nut in a Wear It sample bottle they'd sent a while back. So it's kind of like a banana nut waffle with like little extra nutty notes, and then the honeycomb kind of serves as a kind of buttery lightning, so almost like an Aunt Jemima syrup. I haven't got the golden syrup, but I'm using the honeycomb for that effect. It's good. It's a nice mix. See what else we got going on. Yeah, a lot of behind the scenes projects. So the team is very busy, which is awesome. Chefs, e-juice makers. Oh, you made butterscotch smoke? Yeah, that's a great one. And that's actually, so behind the scenes, I designed that one shot. I'm into this thing now where I'm trying to create like base concepts. So the butterscotch smoke, I went back with my Southern Smoke, which is the #1 seller at Chefs for e-juice maker stuff. Like people buy 100 milliliter bottles of that, vape all the time. So the butterscotch smoke I designed using the same base for the smoke and kind of breadiness, and then switched to the butterscotch profile, where the Southern was more of a brown sugar caramel flavor. So cool. I'm really glad you like it. The e-juice makers line at Chefs is doing amazing. We're almost upwards like 1,000 bottles, something like that, for the line, moving monthly. So just really high volume. We added sample sizes, so I think that's a new thing you're going to see more of, is smaller bottles to test to make sure you like a one shot, and then being able to buy the bigger bottle once you know you love it. So that's going very well. Seeing really good sales there. Wizard Labs, we have our 10 flavors there that are really, they're popular at Wizard Labs. So Wizard Labs is kind of a different audience than our audience. So it's really a chance to introduce our name to mixers that don't operate on Facebook, or, maybe they're using, paper to do their recipes, things like that. So it gives us a chance to reach different mixers off the grid. I met a guy who's a bartender at a hotel, and he's like, "Yeah, I make e-juice." And I was like, "Oh, you in the group?" He's like, "Nah, I just order from Wizard Labs and mix it all up myself." So then, that let me realize that there's a lot of mixers that we don't interact with, but having that one shot in itself is the advertisement, the introduction, and then, so people can get to know who we are. Yeah, if you want any of those in 100 ml for the chefs, maybe get a post going in the chefs group and say, these are the flavors I'd like to nominate for 100 ml. and then maybe people can vote on them or something like that. Because what happens generally is the best sellers get moved up to 100 mil. But with the 28 line, there's so many flavors that they're going to react to both sales and noise. So, you know, if you create some noise about the flavors you like, that'll give them legs. I've had flavors that we never heard any good things about in the group or to them, things like that. So then we discontinued them. And then in the post where I'm announcing that we discontinued certain flavors, people are freaking out. Like, oh, I love it. Oh, no, I use it all the time. So it's important to let the vendors know when you like certain flavors or you want things to stay, because we like to rotate the line. So if you really love something, you want to put a review on it on Chefs and tell Lewis and Carl, things like that. Yeah, that's great. You're vaping. Yeah, you like Southern Smoke, and I think I've seen you mention you like the 2 RY4s, Tammy, too. So those are all down that line. It's kind of like one of my side hobbies is dessert tobaccos. And I make them a lot for myself. I'll go through like runs of it for like a month where I'll just be vaping RY4 based things where I'm building around it. But yeah, I'm glad you guys are enjoying that stuff. You know, with the recipes, it's crazy because a lot of times you don't get feedback. So you release one shots and you don't hear about them. And people, like, you see sales. Like I see Southern Smoke selling. I see Mango Tango Dancer selling really well. You know, we see, you know, all the sales, right? But you don't always hear what people think of it. And you know what you thought of it, but you really release it off almost like one of those tea lights into the water, you know, and you just hope it goes on its journey, but you really don't. Once you release it public, or once you put it off as the one shot, you just kind of have to be like, I hope someone else likes what I like about it, right? And then go from there. It's cool though. You got like in the comments, you guys really like the e-juice makers chef stuff, so that's really cool to see. Got Tango Mango fans and Emily's Blueberry Catalan. I can't even say it. Catalina, Catalina. I don't know. It's fancy. Yeah, it's cool though. That was at the time our biggest release. That was 28, and then we've since broken that record on bigger projects. Yeah, RY4 Double. It's kind of like a, without it being too strange, like a gentle leather. Like when we were kids, we'd chew on a baseball glove. It's a strange thing, but you'd like be in the outfield and you'd like chew on the strings on your baseball glove. And like RY4 Double has like a leather note, a gentle leather note in a good way that you can then just build. You know, if you head down vanilla, and caramel, and then tobacco, right? So if you just start with RY4 Double at like 4%, and then you start to just go down those 3 roads of vanilla and caramel, can be anywhere from brown sugar to caramel candy to butterscotch to even just anything kind of those. You can even go over into like Capella honey type of zone with it, right? So you work in that caramel zone, then you build out your vanilla with maybe a vanilla shisha or vanilla swirl, Vienna cream. All those kind of things can build out the vanilla. And then over in the tobacco, you'd want to work on giving him a little more spice, right? flavor art lets you down most of the time on tobaccos, but Hangson, Inawera, Flavora is and just lightly. So seeing the RY4 is the larger, and then lightly spicing it up in like a 1% range. And that can, when you think of spicing it up, that could be rum, that could be oak wood, that could be holiday spice, could be pumpkin spice, it could be rich cinnamon. So it can be anywhere in the spices. When you think tobacco, you can also think of it as a interchangeable with spice, right? So that's oh yeah, I heard about that YouTube churro donut, but we've never seen that one before. It's good. It was just a public recipe we put out on ELR, not ELR, on the DIY e-juice recipes big group. Back when we were trying to, work with them more and post in there all the time. Yeah, if you look, I think Pathos is Steam's recipe. Or Fear, one of those two. But like Fear is your guy if you want to play in that dark cigar tobacco. I mean, he was a no-brainer for the team. I scope people. I scope people a lot when it comes to mixers, right? So I'll see you later. Have a good time, Tammy. So I scope mixers, and then I just kind of look for things that make them strange, right? They don't have to be a good mixer. They have to be a strange mixer. They have to do weird things. They have to, like copals, flowers. Steam's really good at cereals. Too Tall does a lot of layering and weird stuff too. Like Dave's recipes were always just so precise. Concrete River's recipes. Concrete River got my attention for using no apple in an apple recipe. After that, I was like, I want him on the team. So a lot of teams kind of come together from like Six Strings did a corn pudding and something else. She cloned Delos. I think it's Delios or Delos, whatever that brand is. That's like a really good one. And she cloned it so well, people were calling her like a scammer or like a recipe stealer. And that's what they did with me when I first came out. So I was like, oh, all right, I recognize that. That controversy is good, If they're saying you're stealing shit, you're probably mixing pretty good. So keep going when you run into that kind of stuff. Yeah, if you guys are in the UK, get excited. Got some really exciting stuff for the UK. Got some really exciting stuff for the US. And we're going to Vegas. There's like 5 or 6 of the team already that's going to Vegas. November 9th through the 11th. So if you guys want to meet us, hang out, talk e-juice, pick up one-shots of ours and stuff. We're going to have all kinds of stuff. So it's just going to be really cool. There's going to be some really good mixes there. And it's just an opportunity for us to build a DIY conference level get together. So this is like baby e-juice makers Vegas year 1, and it's a baby thing. But as we grow, and as our crew of e-juice makers gets bigger, and you guys are all the e-juice makers too. The MixLife crew. As that gets bigger and bigger, maybe we'll have a bigger event. But this is like testing the water. So we're all getting, we're putting our chips in and traveling to Vegas. So it'll be fun. But let's see. See what else is going on in vaping. The liquid barn thing, we talked about that. That's a good deal and an interesting product. Let's see. Yeah, I mean that's really what I've been playing around with lately. Is kind of just developing product behind the scenes. I guess we didn't really talk about the topic of the show though, so let's do that. So this recipe right here. So you can run. So number one, like right now, this because I use the Inaware like testing Inaware beta recipe for their banana nut. Now this recipe can't be released publicly, right? Because nobody will be able to find the banana nut. But when you release for one shot, you have to kind of work the same way, but you have to work within the variation of the company. So like maybe I want to use Hangson tobacco, but if I'm working with someone that they can't get the Hangson, like they don't sell it, like say your e-cig Express or your Chefs, I can't use Hangson there. So I can't just walk into a one-shot project with a recipe that tastes really good that I made with Decadent Vapor and Flavor Express and Flavora. Like you can't do that. So you have to be a lot more similar to like if you've ever done a competition for mixing where you're just like on your toes and you have to really figure it out on the fly. You have to be thinking like anything that's getting sold, you have to be thinking about reliability of the source ingredient, right? So is Inaware going to change the milk chocolate? So if you had milk chocolate in any one shot, your one shot became trash after they reformulated that milk chocolate flavor, right? So you can go, you can screw yourself over in the future by not picking reliable vendors before. And then you can also screw yourself over by just being like completely focused on the product. And this skews, right? So it depends on your greed level or necessity to make money, right? So most of us that are on the team, e-juice makers, aren't like direly broke. We all have jobs. We all do reasonably well. So we're not compromising the mixes for profit, right? We're not phoning in like a 10% TPA recipe with a 4% sweetener, all designed to keep the costs as low as possible, right? So if you're making a one shot, you have to think about the flavor house. So it really works like the flavor house is the client, and they've contracted you to create a product, and you have to deliver a product that works with what they want, right? But if I send them a recipe that's all Flavora, and it costs them a negative amount to mix, or something like that, where, you know, so what's going to happen, they're going to mix it up by a gallon batch. It's going to get bottled out. You're going to get a per bottle 30 ml cost. And it might be like $1, it might be like $3. If you're doing like a vape shop, it might be $10, right? With your co-packer and your flavor. In vape shop, you have more freedom to flex your different flavors. So you can use like a medicine flower or rich cinnamon, whatever, because that's baked into the final price, right? In one shots, your margins are tight, right? So your profitability might be on a great day like $3 per bottle sold. In reality, it's more like maybe $1 per bottle. So you end up with like $1 a bottle. But if you were to use too much of a flavor, that's expensive, when you get your sales sheet, you might be only making like 25 cents a bottle. So you might sell 100 bottles, but you would have been better off to sell 25 bottles with a different ingredient, right? So that's this whole world that doesn't really get dealt with too much in DIY mixing. But as you start to mix commercial or one shot, you start to learn these different little variances, right, or adjustments you have to make, and you can see that the difficulty level to deliver a great tasting commercial product that operates within financial margins of profitability, right, is 10 times more difficult than delivering a great tasting one shot that operates sort of profitable, right? So because when you get over here in the commercial side, it's so easy to be like, well, just let's cut the costs on the flavoring, because you're talking about gallons of flavoring, right? So that's why you see these shitty 120 milliliter bottles of grape Nick salt, 50. Why? Because they're going to put in 50 milligrams of Nick salt. You're going to stay hooked. The grape flavoring is going to be like 20% grape juice, right? But because they're only using one flavor, they're not having to cross vendors. They can buy that flavor in bulk. Now their cost is way low, right? That's why you see these single flavors. That's why you don't see complex recipes in vape shop, because it's almost stupid to do, right? But I don't give a fuck. That's what we do. We put out good recipes. It's where you tell us to make a shitty recipe, we're still going to make a recipe that's better than 80% out there. So even when we dumb down, you're still around 5 or 6 recipe ingredients, even dumbed down. Maybe 4, but usually 5. Like even our dumbed down stuff, where you won't find us doing like 1 ingredient at 20%. But like that's, so you're like, oh, I'm a mixer, I'm DIY, I want to do this stuff, whatever. One shots is a good step, because when you get over into the commercial, I mean, for our commercial release, we had, I think it's 20 to 30 people peer reviewing every recipe that we put up. So we got vape shop owners. Like, I don't fucking want somebody's opinion like that. But when you're doing commercial, so you've got vape shop people telling you what they think. You've got, bummy ass vapors on the street, just random people walking into a vape shop telling you what they think, right? So then you're getting this feedback. You better have thick skin. You better be able to hear, like, your juice sucks, or your juice is a 6 when you thought it was a 10, type of thing. So I prefer, I don't know. So the question that Max asked is, which do I prefer, selling finished juice or one shots, right? The potential to be like on a boat that was paid for by e-juice would come from finished juice, right? If you're going to be on a blow-up pool float, that's paid for by one shots, right? So the goal would be to be a percentage shareholder of a finished juice line. That's ideal, right? I like the one shots for us have become a canvas for us to paint, basically, where the U.S. has locked down development. Where if there's an open market and I could legally release products here as finished e-juice, right? I'd be able to say, you know, look, here's line A, here's line B, here's line C. E-juice makers did all these, right? Because we can't do that. It's almost like, you know, being a musician and they've turned off the radio, so the radio doesn't work, right? So you're a musician, radio doesn't work, nobody can hear your music for you to be popular, right? So the one-shots let us release songs. So it's almost like, you know, the way the internet, Napster and stuff allowed music to get out that couldn't make it on the radio. This allows us to release flavors, recipes, to build our brand, to build our name, so that down the road, when maybe there's only 10 or 20, you know, brands out there, and those 10 or 20 brands are like, we want the very best mixers, the one-shots have allowed us to build this name, right? You know who Shindo is. You did it a year ago, right? So it's something, you know, it starts with releasing strong recipes that catch people's eye because you're mixing skilled in the right way, right? And you don't have to be famous to do that. And we're looking at your recipes. I look at like all kinds of recipes. But if we're not commenting or liking, whatever, like, you know, it just didn't stand out. But sometimes there's recipes that stand out. A guy did like he did an ice cream with caramel. And as I'm reading through his recipe, I'm thinking, oh, I would have added this. That's what his next ingredient is. And then the next one is like, oh, I'm doing this. And then I'm thinking I would have added this other ingredient, boom. And he's done that, right? So when I'm seeing this guy can mix, now he's on the radar. He drops another recipe in the next couple weeks, month, whatever, and I'll be looking at it. And if it continues on a path, you know, that's why I knew who Fear was before people were mentioning Fear. You know, and it's all skewed because there's certain people that have these charts and for all the flavors, certain users where they can see trending recipes and trending mixers before they hit the trends so that they can break new mixers. But for me, I just keep my, you know, ear to the grindstone. Is that what they say? My ear to the track? I don't know. Yeah, Mixer's one of the first. There's only been one other brand I've ever seen. I'll say two. There's Philip Rock, which is really just the guy that owns Philip Rock, is like pretending to be another guy, but he's the mixer. And ear to the ground, yeah, eat to the ground. And then the other one was I think it was Enjoy released it, and it was called the Artisan Series, and it had Jeremy Dollar, and then it had three other like vape shop. One lady was like a perfume French flavorist, and then two other people, and it was like each one had their own flavor, and there was four, right? And that was it when we started. No, mixers did not get their name on a bottle. And that's what the mixer collection changes, is it has our names on the bottle. These are our recipes that we made. That's why it matters. You know, we are a piece of this that deserves to be seen, in that we created this recipe. The same way that chefs became Food Network famous in the 80s, where before chef was just behind the brand. That's kind of the steps that we're working towards, is that we as the mixers deserve to be seen, deserve to be cut in on profits, deserve to be part of the deals, all that. So that's really kind of the transition that e-juice makers as a brand goes after, is that we approach vape deals more from a standard of that we have the talent and we have the recipes that if they go with, then their vape brand will be successful. If they don't go with, then it may not be. So that's the value, is that they know they're going to have recipes that are the people are going to be talking about. So that's cool. Yeah. So like, I always found it fascinating. Like, I really think it's intriguing to a regular vapor, someone that just buys vape shop juice, the uh, the workings of e-juice making and what goes into being someone that makes the juice. Even if you're never going to make DIY or juice yourself, just understanding like, how did this strawberry cream that I bought for 25 bucks and I love, how did it come to be made? You know, there's shows on TV that are just loop reels of stuff getting made, you know? And they're like #1 shows on TV. Like, people sit and watch the loop reel of like plastic bottles being carved and poured and stuff. But, you know, with this year, we're almost at 100 SKUs for one shots released, for projects. And, you know, for me, being able to take the mix team that I conceptualized last year, and kind of last year was like recruitment and putting together this ragtag bunch of people, even though I had no projects to give them, you know, and just getting the team together and getting us all comfortable with each other, and then boom, 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 you know, stuff. I mean, easily 10x over last year, and then if we 10x next year, it's going to get pretty wild. So I'm excited. Expect to see a lot more products from us all over the world. And we have some other projects, you know, that's the other part of it. You sign these non-disclosures, so we're doing more work than you see. Like, we can't talk about who we're working with. We can't talk about how big the project is. But we're happy. Team's happy. Team's busy. And we're really excited for where this thing's going. You know, it's really exciting for us to be able to, you know, not just say, oh, vape shop juice sucks, but be like, we make great vape juice. You know, vape shops and DIY across the spectrum. You can get high quality recipes that are well thought out and worked on and designed to be great, and not just make us money. So that's the thinking behind it. I am Adam, the Ckemist, and this is MixLife 66. We're gonna wrap it early. Thank you for supporting e-juice makers. We're up to like almost 1,500 subscribers. Oh yeah, shout out. V-Dog's got some of the good stuff. Woodsman is way out there. Woodsman is the craziest juice I've ever made, and it's absolute insanity to put out a wood-based tobacco as a vape shop product and expect to make money from it, right? But I love it. It's just, I took Mixer as an opportunity to make a statement of who I was as a mixer. And I took the risk that I might lose the easy money for the longevity of winning the hard money to get, in this case. All right, MixLife, thanks for joining, guys. Happy Sunday to you. We're about to grind into fall, so just look for some really good stuff to come out, and keep supporting us. If you can make it to Vegas, come on out and hang out with us. We're gonna have a good time. Too Tall might get married, so maybe at e-juice maker's wedding. It sounds crazy enough that it's probably what'll go down. So join us in Vegas November, and happy mixing to all you guys. Thanks for joining me.